Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. I couldn't quite resist using that one in the intro, because it's actually pretty relevant to what I wanted to talk about today, and that is the game Titanfall 2. Now, as much as I hate to admit it, I followed the trend that a lot of people had with this series, in that I bought the game, really enjoyed it for a few weeks. I mean, it is a fantastic game, there's a lot going for it, but after a few weeks I just stopped playing it. I didn't have the drive to go back and play it, and I didn't want to go back and play it. And today I wanted to discuss why I think that might be. And the main reason, I would say, is because the game is kind of stuck in the middle of two different types of first-person shooter. You've got the casual games and you've got competitive games. Now, casual games are what this game I think is aimed to be. You go in, you jump in, you just shoot some things, and then you get off. It's maybe a game you only spend like half an hour or more a night on. Then you get competitive games, which are games that get people coming back constantly to try and improve, try and show that they're better than other players, or to just have that little bit of a tense moment and sweaty moments every now and then. And I think the problem with Titanfall 2 is, as I've said, I'm pretty sure this game was designed to be a casual game. There's a lot of systems in it where, yes, it will reward a skillful player, but ultimately the mechanics of the game are very simple to get a grasp of. But the game is still inherently difficult, mainly because of the wall running and that aspect of the game. You find that the players that can manipulate the movement and use the movement to best advantage are going to be the most successful. The players that can gain masses of momentum and fly around the map in seconds are the people that usually do the best because they have mastered the game. If you watch people on PC, they can do some incredible moves with the movement. And you'll find that players that are more stationary are less likely to be successful. They might catch a few people off guard, but if you cannot use the movement as effectively, you're not going to do as well in the game. And that adds a bit of a learning curve, which is usually good. People like to have that, and that I think is a good thing for the game. However, it is a very brutal learning curve at times, and for some reason, for me especially, I don't know if this is just for me, because obviously opinions are like arseholes, we've all got one and everyone knows one that's incredibly loud, but I've just found that whenever I get completely stomped, in other games I usually have a more proactive approach. I think, okay, I got stomped this game, what can I do to be better next game? Whereas in this particular game, it just feels completely demoralising. I don't really want to play it, I just get annoyed at it. And I think that's in partly down to the fact that for those that are trying to learn the movement are kind of midway there. They can start moving quicker, but they don't necessarily know how to aim and fly at the same time. It then leaves them in a position where a much more skilled player can still destroy them, but they've also put themselves now at a disadvantage to the players that are stationary, so that players with less skill and less ability to actually use the movement are now actually at an advantage to those that are just trying to improve. And I think that's the problem with the gunplay being so easy. It allows the lowest skilled players to then start becoming a problem for those trying to improve their play. I think in fact that the ease of the gunplay in the game kind of leads players into a false sense of security when they don't play the game very often. Often with a casual game, it is something that you don't want to play all the time, but every now and then you think, yeah, I'll give that a go and have some fun on that. But every time that I keep going into games and I start getting used to the gunplay again and I feel fine, and then all of a sudden there are people flying around the map and I just generally don't seem to be able to deal with them, or they just seem to be curb stomping my team entirely, it just leaves me with no incentive to go back and play the game, which is a shame because it is a very good game and I could sing this game's praises a lot. But for some reason it just keeps pushing me away because of that contrast of incredibly easy gunplay but quite steep and brutal learning curve to actually properly master the game. But it's hard to say whether this is actually a problem with the game or it's maybe just not the game for me, because I do enjoy a competitive game. I very much enjoy playing Rainbow Six Siege, so when I want a competitive experience I go to that. But then I've also been looking for a casual first-person shooter. Quite often if I want a casual game, I'll just go and play a story-based game like Uncharted, Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm looking also at the Spider-Man game and God of War that was released this year. But sometimes I do just want to play a first-person shooter that's casual. But I keep being put off Titanfall because it keeps just pounding me into the ground and I just don't want to go back and playing it. I found myself going back to Destiny 2, which whilst it has definitely been a very flawed game, it's a very easy game to play casually because you don't really have to care about what's going on. But for some reason Titanfall just sits right in the middle of what I would class as a casual game and what is a competitive game. So unfortunately it's probably a series that I won't really continue much with because of that aspect. But quickly, as a 180, because there are a lot of things this game did well, I do want to give it some praise because I may not do any more Titanfall 2 videos to actually give it the praise it deserves. First things first, the campaign in this game was fantastic. It was quite short, which was a little bit of a shame, but the actual story was good. And especially the time travel platforming level was fantastic. I had so much fun on that level in particular. It was a really refreshing addition to a first person shooter. I haven't played anything that played like that before, and it was really fun. I found that really engaging and enjoyable to play. Secondly, the game is very well designed for what it wants to be. It wants to be a spacey parkour first-person shooter with giant robots. It does that well. It doesn't seem to have a design crisis like some other games. It knows what it wants to be, and it does that really well. There is also a lot of variety in Titan combat. I did find that to be really enjoyable in the game, is how with most of the Titans there isn't one that dominates. Tone is a bit of a pain and Monarch can be incredibly annoying sometimes, but overall the Titans are well balanced enough you could pick almost any of them, and as long as you've gotten used to them you can do really well in that Titan. And what's more, with the variety of gadgets and boosts in the game, you can have some really epic moments in this game. And I will say, I have enjoyed my time playing it, but unfortunately I'm probably not going to spend much more on it. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and if you think I'm completely wrong and I should just shut up talking about this game, then fair enough, feel free to leave that in the comments down below. But I do hope you enjoyed this video. This has been the Guy from the Gamer Tag, and I'll see you on another video.